We're going to begin today's practice in our tabletop pose. So we're going to look at the way that our index fingers are set up. Make sure our index fingers are parallel with one another, facing forward. The rest of our fingers, we're going to lift them up and then place them back down on the mat, kind of gripping into the tops of our fingers, into the upper pads of our fingers like a rock climber. This is going to help us evenly distribute the weight within our wrists here in our pose. So go ahead and find shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. We're going to move through a couple of rounds of cat-cow here. So moving with the breath as we inhale, dropping that belly, lifting the gaze, feeling a really good stretch through the abs here. As we exhale, rounding through the shoulders, dropping the gaze, dropping the head here, feeling a good stretch through the upper back, letting go of any tension we're holding in the shoulders. So once again, just inhaling, dropping that belly, lifting the gaze. Exhaling, rounding through the shoulders, dropping the gaze, dropping the head here. As we inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze. Exhaling, rounding through the shoulders, dropping the head. When you're ready, finding a nice neutral spine here, coming to a flat back. When you find a nice, good, strong balance, I want you to take your right leg and extend your right leg out behind you. Once you feel good and solid in this foundation, in this pose, go ahead and extend your left arm out in front of you. Creating a nice line of extension here between the hand and the foot. So reaching back with the foot and reaching forward with the hand. As you exhale, go ahead and reach your left arm back, bending your right knee, grabbing hold of that right ankle with the left arm. Almost pushing into this ankle here. I want you to start to feel a really good stretch along the belly here. Feeling a good stretch along the thigh. Being mindful, not letting the right knee splay out to the side. It's okay if you fall out of the pose here. When you're ready, go ahead and release the arm, release the leg down to the mat. We're going to do this on the other side. So when you're ready, extending that left leg out behind you. And extending your right arm out in front of you. Finding a nice opposing line of energy here. On your next exhale, reaching back with the right arm, grabbing hold of that left ankle. And pushing up into the sky with that ankle here. Starting to feel a really good stretch along the front of the belly and the chest here. You might even feel a good stretch along the right shoulder. When you're ready, go ahead and release the arm down to the mat, release your legs down to the mat. We're going to make our way into a kneeling half moon pose here. So keeping your right arm and right knee on the mat, we're going to extend the left leg back behind you, opening up that back hip. So as we do this, our left arm is going to extend. It's going to start to lift off the mat. We're going to extend it up to the sky, seeing if we can find a nice balance here, looking up towards that left arm. Beautiful. As you exhale, bringing that hand back down to the mat, bring the knee back down to the mat. We're going to find this pose on the other side. So when you're ready, extending your right leg back behind you, starting to open up that hip, stacking the hip over your knee, and opening up with the top of the upper body, stacking your right shoulder above your left shoulder, opening up here into our kneeling half moon pose. Breathing here. When you're ready, releasing the pose, hand comes down to mat, knee follows. When you're ready, tucking those back toes under, we're going to lift the seat up into our downward facing dog. So no worries if the heels can't touch the mat quite yet. It's our first downward dog of the practice. You just pedal out the knees a couple times here, moving with the breath. When you're ready, finding stillness. And on your next inhale, go ahead and step that right foot forward to the front of the mat, all the way between the hands. And I want you to take this left foot and place the left foot on the mat in a 45-degree angle. Bending into that front right knee, that leg. We're going to come on up into our warrior one pose here, lifting our arms up overhead. Now we're going to take humble warrior here, so this is going to feel really good in the upper back. So bringing the hands behind you, clasping the hands behind you. We're going to start to bend forward, leaning over that right leg. And our arms are going to come on up overhead, feeling a really good stretch in the upper body here. Taking a few deep breaths here. On your next exhale, coming on up, releasing the hands, framing that front foot with the hands, stepping back into our down dog here. We're going to take humble warrior on the other side. So when you're ready, on your next inhale, lifting that left leg, stepping the foot all the way forward through the hands, adjusting that back foot into a 45-degree angle, bending into that right knee here. Arms come up overhead into our warrior one on the left. Taking a couple of breaths here. When you're ready, as you exhale, bringing your hands behind the back, clasping the hands together, leading with the chest here and bending at the hips, folding forward into our humble warrior on the left. Feeling a really good stretch in the upper body here, through the shoulders and the upper back. Can lift the arms up into the sky from the hands. When you're ready, coming on up into our warrior one, acknowledging the pose, framing that foot with the hands, stepping back into plank, dropping the knees. Just come into a nice gentle seat here. We're going to take a couple of stretches through the arms here. So when you're ready, on your next inhale, go ahead and reach your arms out like you're going to give somebody a big hug. And as you exhale, bringing your arms in, I want you to cross your right arm over the chest, hooking your right arm with your left arm here, just holding your arm in a nice, good stretch here for the shoulder. Breathing here. Releasing the shoulders away from the ears if you find that you're pulling your shoulders up towards the ears. Beautiful. On your next exhale, go ahead and release back into that big hug. And bringing the left arm across the body, hooking the left arm with the right. Feeling a really good stretch through the back of the right shoulder. Beautiful. As you exhale, go ahead and release this pose. I'm going to grab a yoga strap here. This might be helpful for this pose. You can use a necktie if you don't have a yoga strap or a piece of rope. Anything that you can, even a blanket or a towel, anything you can use to extend your grip. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to turn around so you can see me, is reaching your arms up overhead. We're going to bend your right arm here. So your elbow is going to be coming straight up towards the sky, keeping your chin so it's parallel with the ground. This is going to help push your elbow back. Reaching down, back, and around with your left arm. We're going to see if you can hook the fingers here and just find a nice stretch in this right arm. If this is too much, that's what the yoga strap is for. You can hold on to the yoga strap and work your way into this pose using the yoga strap. Or if this is still too much, go ahead and unhook that left arm. reach your left arm up overhead, just grabbing a hold of that right elbow and just pulling that right elbow in towards the left side. And this might just be the better variation and feel right for you. So when you're ready, go ahead and exhale, releasing this pose, bending at the right elbow or the left elbow now, and taking this pose on the left. So either grabbing hold with the fingers, using your yoga strap here, or going and grasping hold of the elbow with the right hand here. Whatever feels good in your practice, whatever feels best to stretch out your arms. Breathing here. When you're ready, go ahead and release. We're going to make our way down onto the mat now. We're going to lay on our belly this time. So coming all the way down to the mat, I'm gonna move this cat here. Bringing our arms out into a T. Bring your right temple down to the mat. We're gonna stretch out the left shoulder first. So bending into our right knee, or right elbow, we're going to push the body over and around, finding a nice twist, keeping our left arm extended into a T here, into our intense shoulder stretch. So this is going to feel really good on the fronts of the shoulders. You may have seen this variation done on a wall before. You can almost use this right arm to push our way back into the shoulder here if that feels good. The left knee stays bent and the foot stays on the floor behind us to help give our body that leverage. So when you're ready, exhaling, you can unwind and finding the stretch on the other side. So bringing left temple to the ground, rolling over with the body, and pushing in through the hand here, stretching out that back right shoulder. As you exhale, go ahead and unwind. Go ahead and come up onto your knees here. We are going to do what's called thread the needle pose here. So coming up onto your hands and knees. Making your way onto your hands and knees, lifting your right arm up all the way to the sky. We're going to thread that right arm through the left here. So what we're going to do is extend our left arm here and bring our shoulder, our right shoulder, all the way underneath the left arm here until we feel a good stretch in the upper back. So our booty stays up in the air here, and we start to feel a really good stretch in the upper back. As you exhale, go ahead and release. Coming back onto your hands and knees. We're going to take thread the needle on the other side. I'm going to turn around here. So reaching that left arm up, opening up through this chest, threading the left arm underneath the body, extending our right arm all the way through, and then walking our shoulder all the way underneath so we can almost look up underneath the right armpit here. Just feeling a really good twist in the upper body. Booty stays up in the air. Breathing deeply here. When you're ready, unraveling, coming back up into hands and knees. Now we're going to take a variation of puppy pose and child's pose to end this practice. So if this is too much, you can just take child's pose to end your practice. But what we're going to do is walk the hands forward, coming down onto the elbows here. And then we're going to drop the seat down to the knees. So our hands are going to kind of splay up. And we're going to find like a puppy pose variation with the upper body while taking a child's pose variation with the lower body here. And this is going to feel really good across the back, through maybe the low back, the upper back, through the backs of the arms. And we're just going to end our practice breathing deeply into this pose.